Don't get yourself dirty.
I'm going to get dirty. Don't bend it. Hey, welcome to Two Guys Garage. Well, today we're back on the 67 Camaro.
We got a new gas tank on it. We're going to get this baby running, see how she purrs.
Well, hopefully it'll run. And, of course, we got a lot of diagnosis to do on some of these wires. We got fluids to change.
I'm sure it's going to purr like a kitten. Stay tuned.
Yep.
Hey, you got grease on you.
Come on, I've been wiping this floor. Stop getting it all over the floor.
You take it in. All right, we're on 67 Camaro project. Now, this thing was a restore car at one point, sat for 20 years, and what we're trying to do is actually get it back into running condition. So we changed out the front brakes, we're replacing all the lines, we've got a new battery. So now, hopefully today, we're going to get her running.
You know, a car sits for 20 years in a damp garage, the fluids get full of moisture, they deteriorate. The gas tank was really nasty, and there was no fixing that, so we put a new tank in it. And when we did the brakes, we did new rubber lines and steel lines. Remember, 20 years of that brake fluid sitting there were rusted. Now it's time to take, we got a kink transmission line he's going to bend up, and we'll replace that. We need to get the fluids out of the engine, the transmission, and, of course, the power steering unit. You know, when you start taking an oil pan down off a transmission, you take the bolts out, you've seen him at work. You take that down,
I never get
oil
things dirty.
everywhere.
What are you talking about?
Here's a great way to do that. Nice to have a nice piece of equipment. This is from Sane. This is called a DX12 fluid evacuator. Big canister. All you need is some compressed air. Hook your shop air line up to it. Turn the handle here. You can hear the Venturi action. This is all sealed up. When you're pulling a vacuum, you're making a vacuum canister out of this thing. It'll pull fluid. With it, you get 3 hoses, different dimensions. If you look at the 3 tips, this black one here, the heavy one, that goes into engine oil through the dipstick tube. This little blue one will go through the dipstick tube and take transmission oil up. And then, of course, this can be used for the heavier fluids, like your differential oil and heavy transmission oils and so on. Now, once you've got vacuum, you can see there's a gauge here. It's built-in vacuum. You get this hose here out of the way. And once you've got vacuum, turn your handle over here. Take your shop air off it. Now you're ready to go. This has a quick disconnect. Plugs there. Once you put this here, then you just turn your handle, and you can feel the vacuum right there. It'll pull all of the oil. If you keep that submerged in fluid, it's not going to pull air, and it'll fill this thing all the way up. Evacuate your transmission, your engine. This is great in a boat where you can't get a pan down in the bilge. Now, one other thing, when you're done, and this is full, it's easy. You pull this out. These are all quick disconnect. You pop this line in here, put your shop air on it, turn it the other way. It pressurizes this. Put this in your waste oil tank. I'll show you how that works. You get rid of it all. It's a great piece. And now it's time for us to take the oil out of the automatic transmission. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect. We'll take our tube out. Now's a good time to put your transmission dipstick right back in. That way you don't lose it. Of course, we're going to have to pull it out, put fluid in this thing after we change the filter and change the gasket on the transmission oil pan. Now, the black tube won't fit in this little Chevrolet dipstick. It's real small. Remember, these early cars had a very small dipstick tube. So pull out the engine oil dipstick, put it up here. We'll go ahead and push this down. And again, we want to get this in the fluid. You want to make sure you're not pulling air. I have pulling air in that transmission. It didn't have that much fluid in it. It's leaked a lot. There we go. Now we're going down. Get it all the way down inside the fluid. Now we can hook our hose back up. You can see how the Sane Industrial really pull the oil out of this pan. Make sure you get the probes submerged in the fluid, and it'll pull it all out. All right, now I've got it disconnected. We take our fluid evacuator, set it up here on the bench. Remember, this oil was really nasty. Normally, you'd have the engine running and warm. This was really sludged up. Now, to get our fluid evacuator empty, it's real simple. We plug this line in here, put it in our waste oil with the compressed air hooked up. All we have to do is turn this on, and our fluid evacuator is going to empty itself right into that.
Ooh,
Hey,
wow.
you want to get black?
Look how clean it is. My hands aren't even dirty.
Look at how thick this stuff is. Look at that.
You know, they have this deal where you just open up the drain plug and let it fall on the floor, and then you call somebody, they clean it up.
There you go. And you can make it. The EPA is still looking for you.
Now, the other disgusting thing we're going to do, we've got the gas tank, and we come back, we're going to pull it apart and show you exactly why you need to switch out your gas tank to a new gas tank, so stay tuned.
Absolutely. Here we go.
Welcome back. Now, this isn't what you think. I know there's brown water here, and there's a gas tank that's shredded, but that's not what happened. This is the old gasoline. Now, you've seen gasoline. It's normally kind of clear, a little bit yellow. Not this stuff. And we're going to show you why. Now, if you get in here into the original sending unit / pickup, and normally this would be your filter. But, you know, if it's shredded like that, looks like a bomb exploded it, that's not going to filter much. This is your sending unit. So there's a little rheostat right here that's going to run through your wire that goes to your gas gauge, tell you how much gas you've got. This will run through the engine. Now, if you can kind of look, you see how much muck is in here. Originally, we were just going to pop this out and show you, but, oof, man, this thing is so bad, we had to take some snips to it and show you what's going on inside. Oh, look at that. Now, I know you may think that originally in a gas tank, it comes with chocolate powdered dough in the bottom, full of dirt. Now you can see, this is why we're switching out to a new gas tank. The very first thing, any motorcycle, any car, any gasoline engine that's been sitting around is going to start making rust in the tank. You've got to get it clean because in the carb, in the fuel injection, anything in that system has little bitty holes for air. That air-fuel mixture is very critical. And if you don't get this stuff clean, it's not going to work. So I think we got this thing ready. Now it's time to get it cranked up.
Well, here we go. It's a nice little car. First time we get the battery hooked up, we got some oil and transmission fluid in it. Dash lights are on. Whoop. We don't have any starter action. Guess we're gonna have to do some diagnostic work. Right now, we're gonna take a break. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Welcome back. All right, we got clean gas, but we got a little bit of a no cranky problem in our electrical system on our Camaro. So we're going to use this really cool Power Probe 3 in order to test and make sure everything's working. Now, first thing, we're just going to plug it in, plug it up to the battery, and make sure that we have a good battery. Yep, that looks nice. Now, this is a great tool. It's got a nice LED on it. You can check continuity. You can make sure that you have good voltage. You can actually power things. You push the positive, you can power things. Like you can power a light. You can power a switch. You can do all kinds of good stuff with this tool. And it's got a nice long cord, so if you want to work all the way around, hey, Sam.
Thanks, buddy.
See what's going on inside. Battery's good.
Thanks. You know, that's the first thing. Anytime you have an electrical problem, before you start diagnosing it, you want to find a voltage up. Make sure your battery's hot. Now, here's how this thing works. We got no crank position. Power comes out, goes through the key, down to the neutral switch, out to the starter. So I can check with our Power Probe. I can go in, and by the way, you have a button here you can put, so you have an audible alert. You can see I've got continuity there. Now here's the next thing. It's got a switch. Flip the switch, tells you got battery voltage there. I'll go into these purple wires. They've been the same forever in a GM car.
Oh, oh, there you go.
Look at that. Turn the key on, back in here.
All right, cool. So all we need is a neutral safety switch. We're good to go.
Yeah, but we're not going to buy one of those in a local parts store.
I bet little Sam could get us one.
Oh, yeah, hey, and he lives right near Rick's first-generation Camaro.
I'll call him.
We'll call him. All right, by the way, Power Probe comes in a blow-molded case, all the adapters, everything you need. This is a handy tool. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Hey, Sam, I appreciate you bringing this thing by. Man, look at this.
No problem.
Hey,
Awesome.
He's playing with electricity. That's dangerous.
Very
Got a
cool.
Perfect switch.
Right.
I'll get some tools and put it in. When he's messing with electricity, you need to help him.
Hey, do you know have a headlight out? Motor and a headlight?
With those wires in there, I hadn't checked anything. But I know you can fix it up.
You showing everybody how to test some headlights and motors?
You know these babies?
Yeah, they're a wonderful tool.
Now, first thing we're doing, we're checking continuity. And what continuity is, we're making sure we have a continuous circuit all the way through the headlight. And if you check any circuit in a DC system, It's coming from the battery, it's going through whatever you're using and coming out. So by testing this, you're making sure that nothing is broken. Getting a continuous circuit will help you know that more than likely it's going to be a good part.
And you always want to do that before you put power to it to see whether the circuit's even good or not.
Right. And another great deal about this tool is that we're checking continuity. We hit the power button, we're sending power through. That's a good sign.
Well, let's show them how to test the motor too.
Okay, so the motor, now this is all we have to do is reverse the polarity on the motor to go one direction or the other. And okay, it's continuous, that's good. Now we just hit power and
There's close.
it's kind of moving.
Let's open it back up.
It doesn't seem that great. Now hopefully where you got that neutral safety switch, they've got a couple of these too.
There we go.
Fair. And you see, look at this thing. I mean, that's a teeny little motor.
Yeah, it's teeny, it's got plastic gears, it seems a little wore out on the inside. Have you tested this one to see if it's good?
I don't think so. This one's not working. So let's check and see. Actually, let's do the headlight. Put it on there. Okay, I can tell we're not getting a continuous circuit. Now let's hit power.
Nothing.
Nothing. So, and that headlight doesn't look very good either. Now, if you look at the box, another cool thing, you can plug this right into your cigarette lighter. That's a nice feature. Plus, now this thing came with 20 feet. Now I'm hooked into the battery in the car right now. So you got one car, you can go all the way to the other car. Comes with another second set of 20 feet, 40 feet. And you can go just like this, just like we're doing. You're hooked into the car, you pull it apart, you put it on the bench. Bam.
Yep.
Sweet.
It's a very wonderful tool.
All right, Fuller, hop in there. I'm going to need you to operate the key.
What are you doing, buddy?
Well, I put in that neutral safety switch, and now I took out the extension wires you were using. The good news is you can't put these together wrong. They're keyed. Even I can do this without making smoke. Now, you use this all the time. Tell me what you use them for mostly in your shop.
We use them mostly for engine swaps. When we took, like for instance, we took an Audi, we took out a 180 horsepower four-cylinder single turbo engine and put in a 4-year model newer V6 twin turbo 500 horsepower engine in it. So now we have to mate the room harness up with the engine harness. And the only way to do that when you have different colored wires is you have to go to the plugs that are open and start probing each one, turning them on to see what is being lit up, the tail lights, the parking lights, the reverse lights. So then now you can go on the other end of the harness and see what controls those lights on the backside and connect them. And without that, you can't.
Well, here's the neat thing. Now, we've been playing with the positive side. You can see right here the little red light is on. If you go to the ground side, you get the green light. Okay, now with the audible tone, high pitch is positive, low pitch, that's great. So when you get to a place where you're probing, and guess what?
You can't see it, you can hear it.
But you can hear it. All right, now, first thing I want to do is check the coil voltage. Turn the key on.
Okay.
And, of course, when you go over here, you should see this thing has a resistor circuit. All right, let me shut this off. We're at 12.1 volts. Just bump the key a little bit.
Okay.
Because the points are open. There we go. And get the points closed. We should see about 6 or 7 volts. Tap it again. Again, one more time. Yeah, there we go, 6.8 volts. So we're on the resistor circuit. You got to have your points closed so it'll go to ground. So that's in pretty good shape. But this thing really needs a lot of work. Look at these vacuum lines.
And look at the AC system. It's an old R12 system.
Yep.
We need to put new hoses on here with crimped ends.
Yeah, you never want to use these
Radiator
these ain't
fans.
gonna work,
No,
right.
those aren't going to hold the pressure. It's got an old POA valve in it. Works sort of like an orifice tube or an expansion valve. We need to replace that with a reproduction piece.
Look at
Flush
this.
out the system.
Look at this.
It looks like the heater core is broken because they've
Yep.
looped it.
Here, they put a loop in the heater hose system where it goes from the pump to the heater back to the manifold. When you see that, it's a sure bet the heater core was leaking. While we got the dash out and the carpets out, half the glove box is out, we'll put a new heater core in this thing and that'll work.
It's also a good idea to replace all the hoses. For instance, this PCV hose is hard as can be. The PCV valve needs to be replaced. The brake booster hose needs to be replaced. It's starting to crush.
Right.
Go ahead and replace the radiator hoses as well. And the radiator neck, you can see it's been corroded. It's been leaking from underneath the radiator.
That
clamp,
kind of electrolysis from 20 years of sitting, the radiator is going to be eat up. So we'll put another radiator in it and so on. Right now, what I want to do is I want to start it up and run it, clear its throat. It's been loaded up and the thing hasn't run for a long time. We got it to start. I put in the neutral switch. It's working good. Has a little thermostatic spring in the manifold to open the choke. I want to warm it up. Then we can check timing, balance the carburetor, make this thing run as good as we can. Go ahead and fire it up. There we go. Got a high idle. Yeah. I think we got a timing issue here, buddy.
Sounds like it's misfiring too.
You can shut it off. You know, you saw the inside of the fuel tank. You can imagine what the inside of that carburetor looks like. And that quadrajet's pretty easy. we'll pull that off, strip it, throw it in the soak tank, put a kit in it, we'll make that thing work, because I can't adjust it out.
And while we got that off, it's a very good idea to go ahead and put some cap rotor and wires on this thing.
Yeah.
Set of
Look at this right here.
Yeah.
You see that smoke when you shut it down? A nitrile float, it's leaking, it's dumping fuel. These plugs are going to be loaded up.
It's a good idea while you have the plugs out to go ahead and do a compression test, and that'll give you the basic condition of the motor.
Yep. So we got a long way to go here, but Camaro runs, it's got brakes, got a neutral switch, it goes in and out of gear. Hey, you know, change the oil a couple of times. Listen, thanks for coming by, buddy. Appreciate the help. Thanks for bringing us that part. Right now, we're going to go ahead and button this up and come back, take a break. We'll see you in the parts counter, so don't go away.
For more information about anything you've seen on today's show, check out speedtv.com or visit twoguysgarage.com.
This looks like that oil stain I made around the Camaro today.
I wiped up a lot of oil after you. Hi, welcome back to our break room.
All right, we got a question here from William D. I got a 1978 Mustang II King Cobra with the 5.0 V8. Problem is that at idle, it wants to overheat. I removed the thermostat to see what happens, but the problem is that it still overheats. First thing is, never remove your thermostat.
Correct. Always put in a good known thermostat. Think about it. If you're overheating at idle and you drive down the road and it cools down, all you've done is add airflow. So if it's overheating at idle, if you have an electric cool fan that needs to be running, if you have a fan that's driven by a belt, then you probably have a thermostatic clutch fan that's not engaging. Check that out real closely and you'll be fine.
First product today is from Edgewater Industries. Now, if you noticed around here, like today, I'm a messy kid. But luckily, this pour and restore oil stain remover saves us around a lot.
Yeah, this stuff from Edgewater is great. It easily lifts and absorbs deep stains. You know, you just pour it on as a liquid, let it set, it dries, and then you sweep it up, and it picks it up. This stuff really works great.
Yeah, and it's easy because it penetrates really deep. It degreases really well. It's ideal to use if you're going to do a floor coating, if you want to put a new paint on your floor. This is great to prep before that.
No scrubbing, no rinsing, no mess. Again, just pour it on, let it dry, and sweep it up. I use it all the time. You can see on this block it does a great job. We use it a lot out here, especially in our driveway. Pour and restore, by the way, also removes stains from, like, if you have transmission fluid, brake fluid, antifreeze, grease, anything that stains your floor. Edgewater Industries got you covered.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it really is. Now, you know, we're always trailering stuff and tying stuff down. This is the master of tie down right here.
I'm also the master of not liking the big straps that are hanging off. These are from Erickson Manufacturing. They're a retractable ratchet strap, and this is a patent-pended. Oh, look at that. Comes out. Now, normally you have the big strap, especially if you're in the back of your truck, where this thing's flapping everywhere. You got to tie it down. It takes a lot of time. It's never neat in your trailer. This stuff is really great. Pull it out, goes right back in, and then when you want to ratchet, get it to the length you need.
Yeah, the push-button release retractable strap, they're really good. And these are 500-pound capacity ones, but they make them up to 4,000-pound maximum load limit. And again, especially on an open trailer, you don't have the excess flapping around, beating up the side of your car, beating your paint job. So look for these straps from Erickson Manufacturing, retractable ratchet strap.
Great product.
Yep. Now, you know, when you're doing a paint job, you're fixing up your custom car, your hot rod, the best part of a paint job, or the hardest part of a paint job, and the most important part, is the prep.
Which you're doing on your truck right now, if I believe I'm correct.
I've been prepping a lot.
Most of these blocks aren't really great on your hand, but you can see this is a really nice, comfortable piece on your hand, so it feels really good. It's also got the hook and loop on the back, so if you want to switch from like a fine grit where you're wet sanding or color sanding, you just pull it off. You can put on another grit, like a 36, if you're doing, you know, rough body work somewhere else.
Right.
So,
this is from Alley Industries Incorporated. It's called the Auto Zip. Again, really comfortable. The oval shape sander is perfect for auto body finish work. It's especially good, by the way, on contours, when you're in the sand in the contours. And this works great with wet or dry sandpaper. Okay, it comes packaged with a couple of different sizes, 400, 320, 180, 80 grit. And of course, grits are available for everything from rough surface to sanding between coats, even your final finishing with your color sand.
Sure, metal, fiberglass, wet or dry. It doesn't matter what you're sanding. It's a nice little pack.
Check it out at your paint store and your auto parts store, Alley Industries Incorporated, Auto Zip. Now, if you got a GM truck, 1500, two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive pickup truck, let's say 2007 through 2009, this is from Ready Lift Suspension Incorporated, and this is their 2¼ inch front leveling kit and a 3-inch rear block kit.
Yeah, one of the great things about this, there's no cutting. No modification to the factory suspension, so it's designed to, you know, make it look correct, look good, but, you know, it doesn't mess with your factory ride because it's a bolt-on.
It's a direct bolt-on installation. Maintain your factory ride, and that's really critical. You know, the front leveling system here is designed to lift the truck 2 1/4 inches for a true level stance. That gives you a good view of the road, and Ready Lift offers a limited lifetime warranty on all of its products.
And if you want to put big tires like 33s, even you put this kit on, you can put 33 tires on the front of that big bad boy.
Right, and if you want to, you know, lift the whole truck, the Ready Lift 3-inch rear block kit, this is a nice rugged kit, perfect combination for use with the front leveling system. It's an OEM style, strong cast iron rear block. You take the factory block out, which is 1 1/4 inch, put this in, and that gives you an additional 1 3/4 inches of rear suspension travel and still maintains the factory ride.
Yeah, it's an easy mod. Ready Lift suspension.
There you go. All right, now, hope you learned something about our Camaro and watched us get it running. Had some fun.
That was
I
fun.
hope you learned something about cleaning oil up after a guy like him.
Right on.
Well,
Be sure you check out our website and send us your questions, and we'll try to answer them here on the show.
Yep, we'll see you next time here at Two Guys Garage.
See you guys.
Look at that. That's a nice rugged block.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, it
Those
looks
are
like
easy to put in.
wrinkle finish. And we only have about 3/4 in the thumb.